MeMe's kitchen. Oh, what a wonderful time we've been having in September. Everybody's just kind of getting ready now for fall, and we can tell a change in the atmosphere. And I'm a summer lover, but I love fall too, so it's a good time of year. I think for the past few days, all of us have been well aware of the events of 9/11, which affected all Americans everywhere. And it was a sad day, but yet it was a day that brought America together. And I just pray that we'll experience that togetherness on and on, because it's a time when we really feel a little more patriotic than usual. But as I told you, we have a lot of birthdays in September. So everybody gets to choose their dessert or whatever they want for their lunch, whether it's a side dish or the meat or whatever, it doesn't matter. But for me, since I love desserts, it's my birthday. So I'm choosing cheesecake, and it's very easy to make, and I think you will be surprised when you see how easy it is. I had never thought about making a cheesecake. I'd always wished I could. And I have a granddaughter who's highly allergic to nuts. And if you read those little stickers on all of those things, there's that disclaimer on, this may contain nuts. So she was never able to have cheesecake. So that's kind of how I got started making my own cheesecake. And I ate it at a friend's house, and she said she had made it, and I thought, wow, I believe I can make it too. So she gave me her recipe. So we are going to make cheesecake today. The first thing that you have to have if you're making a cheesecake is a spring form pan. Now this unlocks, and when it does, this bottom will come out. And so that way, when you lift this off, the cheesecake remains intact. And so you know you can't turn it upside down, because if you did, the crust would be on top, and you want all that cheesecake on the top. So the first thing that we're going to do is to spray this just lightly. Now this is just plain cooking spray. It's not the bacon. So I'm just going to spray just a little bit. It doesn't need to be much, but just enough to be sure that it does not stick. So the first thing that we're going to do is to prepare our crust. Now I have already fixed these. I use vanilla wafers. Now I would like to say, you can use graham crackers if you like, and you can buy those, of course, already crushed up. But I like the vanilla wafers, and so this is 1 box of vanilla wafers that was put in my food processor. And y'all didn't need to hear all that noise. So we're going to put 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. And then this is 3 tablespoons of butter, which I'm going to melt. Put that in there. And then we'll just start stirring this and let this sugar and vanilla wafers get acquainted with one another here. And y'all be sure don't put more than the 3 tablespoons of butter, because I tried putting more, of course, since I like butter, but it made my crust, I don't know, it was just thicker or something. It stuck together a lot. So let's see. Okay, this is melted, so we'll put that in there. Then we just go mix this around until it pretty much moistens all of those crushed up vanilla wafers. Okay, now we're going to put this in our pan, and we're just going to spread it out evenly. And then just kind of pack it down. You don't have to pack it real tight, but you don't want it real loose either. So, okay, so that takes care of the crust. Now, we're going to mix our ingredients here. And this is very simple ingredients. Now, I have learned that I do use Philadelphia cream cheese. It does best. I've made it with other brands. They just don't work as well. So I went ahead and opened all this because y'all, the hardest part about making a cheesecake is opening all this cream cheese. It is a booger to open. So I figured y'all didn't need me fumbling around with all this foil wrapper here. So I went ahead and opened it. And I sat these out this morning when I got up so that they would be nice and I wouldn't say melted, but nice and soft. Okay. Now then, we're going to turn our mixer on and then just start letting the cream cheese just get kind of, you want kind of the consistency of mayonnaise. So as soon as that finishes, we'll be right back. The next ingredient we're going to add is 1.5 cups of sugar. So we've got our cream cheese all soft here, and we just go let that mix a little bit, but not long. And then you add 4 eggs. So we're going to go ahead and put our eggs in. That's 1. Remember, just let your yellow break. That's 2. Three. 4. Okay, we're just gonna let that mix a minute, and then we'll. Oh, well, let's see. We got to put our vanilla in it. And a teaspoon of vanilla, guesstimated teaspoon. Okay, that should be good. Okay, we've been going about 5 minutes, and we've let this mix for about 5 minutes. And so I want to show you now kind of what it's going to look like when you get ready to pour it in your crust. You may think it's a little thin, but it's okay. So we'll get, all right, put this in here. Okay, now then, see, that's pretty much go fill up your pan. Okay, that's it. Now we're gonna put this in the oven. I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees. And we're going to put this in right on our rack. Now, you know, there are a lot of train of thoughts on cooking cheesecake. I've seen people do it many different ways. And some people put a pan of water in there. I just never have. My original recipe didn't call for me to do that. And so I don't have any trouble with the cheesecake. Sometimes it may crack on the top, but I don't think that really makes any difference. And so, but there's 2 ways that you can cook this. Now, this is 375 degrees, and we're going to set our timer here for 35 minutes. Okay, but there's another way you can cook it. You can cook it on, I would have to check the temperature, but I think it's 300 degrees for 55 minutes. And the outcome is basically the same. And so I just cook it for the shorter length of time. If you cook it on the slower temperature, the only thing is the crust doesn't get quite as crunchy, I guess you would say. But that's neither here nor there, so you don't have to worry about that. So I use the higher temperature. So this is going to cook for 35 minutes, and as soon as we get ready, there's one more step before we take it out of the oven. So When the 35 minutes is up, we'll be back and we'll do that step. Our time is up now, and what we're going to do is we have one thing left to do with this cheesecake. All right, let's take it out of the oven, and you'll see it's still a little jiggly in there. Sit it right there on top. Then we have, this is 8 ounces of sour cream. And then we're gonna mix 1 tablespoon of sugar with it. That's a nice tablespoon. Then just stir that together. Just enough to dissolve the sugar. Okay, and then we're going to put this right on top of the cheesecake. Now, if you don't like sour cream, I'm just going to tell you right now, you can leave this step off. Just increase your cooking time a little bit, because we're going to put this back in the oven. So, but honestly, you cannot taste this sour cream. Caroline, my videographer today, was surprised when I told her that it had sour cream on top, because she eats this cheesecake all the time. So, all right. So now we're going to put this back in the oven. You know, you have to be careful handling this thing, because it's hot. Okay, stick that back in there, and that cooks for 5 minutes. Oh, okay, so we'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, we're on the countdown here. See, right here, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, we'll go ahead and cut the oven off, and now we're going to take this beautiful thing out. And y'all, it will jiggle just a little bit, I'll tell you that. Now, okay. Now, we can't take this out of the pan right now. It definitely has to cool. So the best thing to do is just to leave it on a rack. I'm going to leave it for about 15 or 20 minutes. Then I have a spare refrigerator in my garage. I will put it in my refrigerator and it needs to chill at least 4 hours before you can serve it. And then when you get ready to serve it, just take a little knife and run right around the edges of it, and then you pop this open and lift that off, and it's very easy. So what we'll do is when we serve this now, sometimes I use just like cherry pie filling, but then sometimes I do fresh strawberries if I can really get good strawberries, and just serve it like on the side, and it makes a wonderful dessert. This will make probably 16 slices, because cheesecake is rich, and so you don't want a real big slice. And we love big slices around here, but cheesecake needs to be in a smaller slice, and so it makes it go just a little bit further. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Just enjoy this beautiful time of year that God gave us when everything's beginning to change. And I would have to say one thing. I am so thankful that the Lord has allowed me to live as long as I have lived. I'm 82 today. So everybody celebrate with me, and have a good day and a good rest of the week. And everybody shine for Jesus.